Next speaker is Candice Chenu. We move from Singapore to Paris now, who is the project manager, new technologies project manager at the Musée de Quai Branly in Paris, and she will speak about the CULTE project. Please.
So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What does CULTE mean? CULTE is an acronym, stands for Cultural Urban Learning Transmedia Experience. It's a research project with 4 partners, including 1 museum, the Quai Branly Museum from Paris. I work for the Quai Branly Museum. So, first of all, we will see why it is important for us to create now a transmedia pervasive serious game. This project has 2 main characteristics. The first one is to manage to create a generic transmedia project adapted to all museums. And the second goal is to develop a generic platform adapted to all transmedia projects. Then we will see together the problematics we will have to face. And at the end, it's a real concrete project. I will give you some rendezvous to follow. So, 2 years ago, I launched a nursery of thoughts and experimentations in the Quai Branly Museum. This nursery is based on 4 main goals, main points. The first one, really important, is to start with visitors' needs analysis. We have to answer real needs. The second one is skills crossing, because otherwise museums copy others' museums. And to find really adapted solutions to a need, often we have to find solutions in other fields. So we create partnerships with private firms, with designer schools, with researchers, with suburb cities, and so on. The third point is to experiment our device with the public in order to adapt them. So we elaborate a lot of free activities events to experiment our device. So I will take a little bit about this. And the fourth point, really important, is the global approach. We have to combine the device. They are supposed to be complementary and not totally separated. And for the moment, we are not so good in this fourth point. So I will go fast to show you some example of collaborative previous or current projects. We have created a lot of partnerships with suburb cities, and for 1 month per year, we invite the city. There are a lot of conferences, cultural activities, artifact presentations, installations, storytellers. They go on the market of the city, and as you can see, we organize also free transport to the museum on Sundays. In the same idea, we have developed a lot of what we can call suitcase or mobile kit to invite a lot of structures, such as libraries. It could be media libraries, hospitals, schools, learning resource center, community centers, even jails. And for example, this is a suitcase with a lot of NFC games, and in this suitcase we put NFC smartphone, and with your smartphone you can access to the game answers with multimedia content for the solutions or to go further. And the third point is to give you some example of activities, events we organize. And this event is the occasion to test new application, new multimedia guide with iPod, collaborative projects with the public. They can, for instance, participative exhibitions, participative choreography, free party for the youngs, and electronaps. You have a lot of experimentation we have done during these the free activities events. You can have, it's often big events during 1 week. We organize them during school holidays, and during all a week, visitors can, for free, experiment our new device. And after that, we record their feedbacks, and they help us to create the future device of our museum. But so, we create a lot of devices and tools, but they are not really connected. For instance, if I take the example of the electronaps, it's, to explain it quickly, in our gardens during summer, DJ come and they mix the music from our library. It can be music from Oceania, music from Africa, from Asia. And thousands of people come in our garden, they lie down on the garden and they listen to the DJs. But at the end, a great part of them, they just go back, and really few of them enter into the museum. And that's not the point, so that's why we think the next step is to create a transmedia pervasive serious game. So this slide is quite important because it expresses our objectives in such a device. So the first one is to create links and continuity. It is really important. The point is to sustain the visitors' engagement before, during, and after their visit. And for the moment, we are not so good at this point. And the other part is to attract new kinds of visitors, especially visitors who are not used to visiting museums, and it's not so easy to attract them. So we think that a new form, such as a game, can help us to attract them. And the last point is to lead our visitors to become museum ambassadors, to lead them to invite their relatives to join in. So transmedia and gamification are ways to achieve these goals. So why this is the genesis of the CULTE project. So it's, as I said before, it's a research project with the help of the French Agency for Research. And four partners are involved, and they all have specific skills. So the first one, Levillain, is a laboratory dedicated to usability studies with biosensors and so on. Cedric is a laboratory dedicated to game design. Cedric has already experience in game design for museums. The third one, Mazedia, an agency specialized in multimedia for cultural heritage. And they have already developed a platform dedicated to transmedia project. And the fourth one is Musée du Quai Branly, a Parisian museum dedicated to needs analysis, content, and experimentations for CULTE. And last but not least, any participation at contact anrculte@cnam.fr. Because it's a research program, and we do think contributive philosophy could lead us to design a good project for all museums. So The main goal is to, as I said, to create a generic transmedia project adapted to all museums. For that, we will develop a device with the Musée du Quai Branly as proof of concept. We will conduct a lot of usability studies to put into evidence both the educational benefits and the attractiveness of this new cultural experience. And you can follow the result of these studies. The third one is to design a model for a transmedia and pervasive serious game with the inclusion of augmented reality, both audio and visual. The first one is really important. It's the active participation of other museums in order to assess the implementation of the device inside other cultural locations. And we have already a committee with French museums, but if other museums want to join us, we can discuss it. And the first one is an evaluate committee with international experts in transmedia and digital technologies for museums. And we will gather the committee at least once a year. The second point is to manage to develop a generic platform for all transmedia projects. So for that, we will have to create design patterns for transmedia games in order to enable non-programmers in museums or other locations to design such games. For that, we will have to be able to follow the visitors and to publish media inside and outside the museum. And the last point, but really important, is to manage to interconnect adaptive scenery with TourML. So the problematics we will have to face, and if some of you in the audience have already experienced things and could share good practice with the rest of the audience, it could be good. The first one is how to strengthen the link between museum and smart cities. Don't hesitate to share with us if you have a strong idea about that. What kind of informal learning to promote, which values, because all museums have formal learning to promote, but the informal learning, maybe you can have ideas. Can be about contributions, about transgenerational or these kind of things. What are the best ways to give the visitors the opportunity to co-create their tours? I think a lot of experimentation in this field have already been done, but according to you, what are the best ways? Then how to make an adaptive experience. The same as before, a lot of experimentation start in this field, but what is the best way? And how, this point is important, how an editing platform for non-programmers can switch from multi-device CMS to transmedia platform. And the last one, could we define a generic approach for all type of museums? That will be our challenge. So to give you a few, the main points of our agenda. First of all, the first big game experimentation inside the museum, we took place during Spring School Holidays 2015, during at least 1 week. So if you are in Paris during this period, don't hesitate to come to experience it. The second big game experimentation which took place in autumn 2015, and this time we will try to connect both the museum and the suburb city. And the last big game experimentation which took place in spring 2016. And this time we connect museum and another suburb city or a part of Paris, and we could have results to share after this. And to conclude, at the end of 2016, the game will be launched. It's not maybe an important precision. It's not a game for just, it's not an event game. It's supposed to be permanent. It's a new experience for visitors, a new way to discover a museum. And it's not something promotional or just for 1 month or 2 months. At the end, the point is to leave this game not forever, but for several years. So, a meeting with other museums at least once a year. I think I have already told you that. And at the end, in order to share our results, a 3 days international conference will take place in our museum for sharing our conclusions. It will be in spring 2017. And if you want to follow the CULTE project, you will have information in our website. And in 24 hours, you will have information on culteproject.org. And to contact us, you have the address as well. So thank you very much. And I don't know if you have, if we have a little bit time, and if you want to share with the audience your ideas or best practice things about this question, don't hesitate.